Zach Wilson wasn't good yesterday, but let's take a look at the full context of why that was. Hey, what's going on? Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today I'll be talking about Zach Wilson and why he didn't look good. We're going to go through the full context of it. Before we get started today, just wanted to mention where you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. Also, please make sure to check out the Just Jets podcast. You can call in with your reaction. I will get to it on the show. New episodes drop every single Wednesday. Today's video is brought to you by BUSR. You could sign up with busr.com/Matt. It's the official sports book of Matt O'Leary and why they are giving 150% free play bonus up to $2,500. First deposit only. This is where I've been making my bets for the New York Jets the last 2 weeks, and I've cashed the last 2 weeks. So get in on the fun. It's a ton of fun. Thank you so much to BUSR for sponsoring today's show. So Zach Wilson was not good yesterday. There is no sugarcoating it. It was pretty rough, but at the same time, I think most people who've watched the Denver Broncos kind of knew this was going to happen. What I wanted to do today was go through the Denver Broncos, what they've done each of their first 7 games against other opposing quarterbacks, and just go through and talk about how Zach Wilson looked, and it wasn't good. There are some easy throws that he missed where there was an opportunity for him to set his feet and throw. That's not good, but at the same time, only one quarterback has looked good against the Denver Broncos this year, and it was Geno Smith. So we're going to get through all of that. So for Zach Wilson yesterday, he went 16 of 26, a 61.5 completion percentage, 121 yards, which is 4.7 yards per attempt, no touchdowns, no picks, and a 72.8 rating. But as I mentioned, the other quarterbacks who've gone against the Denver Broncos, also not good. Justin Herbert, Matt Ryan, Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo, Davis Mills, Geno Smith. I'm going to run through each of their numbers, and I will pop that on the screen, and we'll compare all of them. How's that sound? So Justin Herbert threw 57 passes the week prior, 37 of 57, 64.9 completion percentage, 238 yards, which is 4.2 yards per attempt, no touchdowns, a pick, 66.3 rating. Matt Ryan was not very good, 26 of 41, 63.4 completion percentage, 251 yards, 6.1 yards per attempt, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks, a 60.1 rating. Carr, 21 of 34, a 61.8 completion percentage, 188 yards, 5.5 yards per attempt, no touchdowns, no picks, a 76.6 rating. Are you noticing a trend here? Jimmy G, his numbers are okay, but his team put up 9 or 10 points against this team. So 18 of 29, 62.1 completion percentage, 211 yards, 7.3 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 81.2. Davis Mills, 19 of 38, a 50% completion percentage, 177 yards, 4.7 yards per attempt, no touchdowns, no picks, 63.2. And last but not least, Geno Smith, the best of the bunch, 23 of 28, 82.1 completion percentage, 195 yards, 7 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and a 119.5 rating. So, again, this was my prediction before the game, and that seems pretty about on par for what he ended up doing.
So with that, I'll get into my stat predictions. We'll do Wilson and Breece Hall. I don't expect the wide receivers to be involved that much this week, so no predictions for them. Zach Wilson, I'll say 14 of 22, 143 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. That will send the people up in flames. They'll be extremely upset that that's not over 200 yards.
The Zach Wilson discourse yesterday was just so weird. Yes, he wasn't good. Obvious. It was very obvious that he wasn't good. And I'll be the first to tell you that because I already know the comment section what it's going to be, that I apologize for Zach too much. Zach Wilson apologist. I got to hold him to a higher standard. I'm just trying to give you the full context of everything that has happened against the Denver Broncos this year. But I really genuinely don't know what people were looking for or were expecting. I think most people who thought the Jets were going to win this game thought that it would be a low-scoring, ugly game, which is exactly what happened. The Broncos have allowed an opposing team to go over 20 points just one time, once, all year. And as I mentioned, the best quarterback performance we saw against this team was Geno Smith way back in week 1. They haven't allowed a touchdown pass since week 3. I know the touchdowns have to come up. I've been preaching that for the longest time. His touchdowns have to continue to go up. and 121 yards isn't good enough. But again, this is not the time to expect those breakout games. After the bye week, I think is when you're going to see a much more changed Zach Wilson. Last year, we saw him struggle before the injuries. And then when he came back and he got in his groove, he looked a lot better. He looked a lot more comfortable. This stretch of games, the next three really, against the Denver Broncos, then you have the one they just played yesterday, obviously. Then you have the Patriots this upcoming week, and then the Buffalo Bills. Those are three extremely big challenges. And yesterday wasn't great. But now coming home and hopefully getting a little bit more healthy, Zach Wilson was in a brutal spot. Brutal spot yesterday. He lost Breece Hall, who's the best skill position player that they have. Corey Davis, his favorite wide receiver, goes down with an injury. AVT, their best offensive lineman, goes down with an injury in game. And then there's a million penalties on the offensive line. Yes, for the millionth time, Zach Wilson wasn't good enough yesterday. That has to improve, but I don't get the people who are expecting to see some sort of breakout performance against this Broncos team. That's not what they do. They are a fantastic defense. They are putrid offensively. That's the exact kind of game I was thinking was going to happen. Now, this upcoming week against Denver, against New England, is going to be an extremely difficult test. We'll see how he does. We'll break it down as the week continues to go on, but just wanted to give you the full context of how other opposing quarterbacks have done against the Denver Broncos and kind of what I expected to see, unfortunately. Thank you so much for tuning in. Subscribe if you're new. Like the video. Share it with a friend. Comment below. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.